Welcome to Revive Ministries Podcast. This month we are talking about national wellness and securing our value. I find that value can play, a huge role in our overall wellness. Today I have a new guest. Her name is Dee Woolridge, here today to share her insight on this topic of overall wellness. It's when we think of wellness, it's not just one thing. I want to thank Dee for coming and sharing her insight with us today. Thank you, Dee, for
Hey,
joining
Robert.
us. No problem. I always like to tell my people listening, obviously we live in uncertain times, and that if you are in crisis, especially in the United States, there's the 1-800-273-8255 is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. But wherever you are around the world, I encourage you to find what resources are available. Before I always begin, I start off with a quote. I know people say things a lot better than I do. So I kind of go by this. This one guy named Jim Rohn, he says it this way. He says, the major value in life is not what you get. The major value in life is what you become. What comes to mind when you hear this quote?
Say that quote again. I know I've heard a lot about Jim Rohn, and I have a favorite one too, but let me hear this one again.
The major value in life is not what you get. The major value in life is what you become.
Oh, wow. I mean, we could take that so many ways.
I know.
It's like it's not what you get. It's not what you get, it's what you become. So I think that those last couple of words is what you become.
Yeah, this one person said it to me in a different way. He said, a lot of people, and especially now, everyone's busy. You're only valued by how busy we are. And we're not human doings, we're human beings. We become something else. And I thought that was really well kind of illustrated. But in recovery is the same thing, in wellness, it's the same thing. It's if all our life is about only ifs, only if I get this way or this goes this way, or it really has kind of, I don't know, at least from my experience, not a very stable place to put where our value is. It's elsewhere. It's only if this person or if I achieve that. So I think becoming puts us in the driver's seat more than other things or other titles, or we become something else. So
well, I think that being is more important than becoming.
Yeah.
Because you already are. You don't have to wait for something else to happen.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I'm having a disconnection to the quote. Maybe I don't understand it. I think that the being part is what the most important is. I think we become what we already are. We become what we believe we can. So what is your being? When I tell people what's going on with them, when I'm asking them what's going on with them, and they're overwhelmed, and I go, okay, well, just come back to the here and now and just be.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just be in the moment, just be. That's the being part to me. You don't have to become or go or do anything. It's just settle in and accept where you are. That's the being part.
I
anyways.
And I feel I get what you're saying, because I believe there are seasons in recovery. Sometimes all you could do is be. All you could say is, it's not a great day, I'm going to try again tomorrow. It's just those little things. But I feel, at least what Jim Rohn is telling me is purpose-driven recovery. I know people who have struggled with substance use disorders for quite some time. And one of my friends said, if it's only about not taking a drink or not doing this, I guess that's what was suggestive of becoming, but always staying present of being who you are today, because the healing starts today. It doesn't become, it's not elsewhere. It's not a destination, because that kind of promotes, sometimes people are not there yet. Some people are taking little steps, and I feel it gets confusing when now looking at it and what you were saying. But I think the being part, being present, is very important when it
Yeah.
comes to these kind of wellness things. Because it's nice to say, I want to make these big goals, I want to become something else. But what if you don't? What if it takes a long time? What if it's a struggle? I don't want people to get discouraged. But being comfortable who you are today is vital in wellness, I believe. So I do agree with that.
And being being today is what you became.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's like, so if you can go back in time, you've already become just from being at that moment. I don't know. How about that for a head trip?
That's funny. Recovery looks different for everyone, but I like I was saying, a purpose-driven approach. It's a holistic approach. It's not just one fits all. And I was talking to another guest. There's cultural implications to this. People like to talk about roadblocks when it comes to wellness. Sometimes culturally, that can be a stumbling block when you're not allowed to express or say that I didn't do okay today. I'm half South Korean, half Puerto Rican, so there's sometimes a high standard.
That's a saucy combination right there. I love it.
So, like,
talk about a mixture of cultures.
Yeah. So it can be, I feel like there's a lot of dynamics when it comes to roadblocks, but at the same time, recovery looks different, and I like how when we look at it this way. I want to ask you this question. I do not proselytize in this podcast because this is an outreach, but I do like the idea of purpose-driven. The question is, what is your why? But how much do you, the question really reading right now, it says, Revive Ministries does not proselyte, but see much value in asking the question why. Why is the question why so important? Why am I here? Why do I want to secure my value? Why is this important to me? And I feel that presents the idea of being present, because if we're just kind of looking elsewhere to the past or the future, we're not concentrating on what's happening today, what's happening with Robert today. And I feel, I think Viktor Frankl, I don't know if you ever read his book. He was the Jewish doctor during the Holocaust. He said, when you know the why in your life, the how gets bearable. It's not that it gets easier. It's just like you're kind of driven to, and this takes time. People takes their whole life to figure out what their why is. But I feel when it comes to overall recovery, it can be helpful. I think it's, I put it in here. It's this. Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how equally. The absence of why can make how seem unbearable, seems heavy. Like if it's just, I need to do this, but why? I go through these thought exercises with my clients. Like they're like, I can't do this. This is not making sense. I say, why? And it's just sometimes, at least for me, and I'm going to get your insight. I hear that a lot of people, my peers, people who struggle, just don't feel hurt. So they just kind of close off and they say, well, I can't do it. And then they don't go through this journey of rediscovery of themselves presently today. So what are your thoughts? I could be wrong, but from my experience, that's what I've seen when it comes to understanding your purpose, when it comes to wellness, when it comes to finding and it continues to change, and it's not that you have to figure it out all today. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So sorry.
Okay, what was that question in there, Robert?
Well, the question is, the question was, I made a rhetorical question, of course, in the beginning. Value. We're talking about securing value, and the question of why. We're talking about purpose-driven recovery, and my question is, when it comes to, what is your why when it comes to recovery, and do you think it's even important? Or have you seen it work, like with your peers or someone who's struggling when they're going through healing? Is asking the question why important?
Okay, so are you asking what is my why for doing the work that I do, or
I guess
why is why important?
I guess the first one, what you just said. Yeah.
Okay. So I've never had a substance abuse problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't answer that question like some of your listeners may
Mm-hmm.
answer. And I don't work with people with substance abuse issues anymore. My
Mm-hmm.
specialty is in anxiety, self
Mm-hmm.
esteem, depression, confidence,
Mm-hmm.
um, childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So, my idea of recovery is that we're all in recovery from something.
Yeah.
We're recovering to our true selves because
Yeah.
as we come back to the planet as a, and this is my belief,
Mm-hmm.
um, that we are here, our why, the overall why is to evolve,
Mm-hmm.
grow, and
Yeah.
learn. And in order to do that, we have to have contrast. We have to have experiences to learn from.
Yeah.
And when we understand that our whole purpose, because you said purpose driven recovery, our whole purpose is to experience life on all
Yeah.
levels at different times. And I believe that we've had many lives.
Mm-hmm.
So if my why here this lifetime is to teach,
Mm-hmm.
no, if my purpose here this lifetime is to teach,
Mm-hmm.
my why is so that the soul can learn, evolve, grow,
Mm-hmm.
because it feels good, because it feeds my soul,
Mm-hmm.
because it's what I'm drawn to. This
Yeah.
is what I would do. I can't think of doing anything else right now,
Yeah.
Robert.
Yeah.
This is what I've been doing for the last, 15, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me what else would I do, and I could think of nothing. So I know.
Yeah.
So that is my why. And
Yeah.
I was told that if your why doesn't make you cry, then you
Mm-hmm.
haven't gone deep enough.
Oh, I like that.
It's
I
the
do like.
last thing.
Yeah.
You should feel some emotion with that
Mm-hmm.
why. Like
Mm-hmm.
like if you took this away from me and I had to work a regular job, there's like nothing there. I'm just like, what would I do? I mean,
Yeah.
I've done
Yeah.
other things, but it's just like this. My why is so that I can, the Course in Miracles says, to learn, you teach.
Yeah.
So everything I learn, Robert, I give back to my clients
Yeah.
for their recovery. And I notice that a lot of times there's a parallel. I'm teaching them something that I need to learn at that moment.
Yeah.
So that's why I say we're all in recovery from
Yeah.
something, but at
Yeah.
just different stages and different levels. So the why for me is because this is what I was born to do.
I love that. I just gave examples of substance use because I have friends struggling, but honestly, recovery, all of us are going through it. And for me,
Something.
yeah, something.
You're
So,
recovering from a broken relationship, from a lost job. You're recovering from not loving yourself and valuing yourself. You're recovering from forgetting who you are in this lifetime. We're recovering from letting ourselves go. We're recovering from putting ourselves second.
mhm.
We're all recovering from something
Yeah.
as we grow. And I believe that recovery
Mhm.
is by design, is divinely designed, and
Mhm.
we're being guided through it. It's part of that contrast. So we really know what love is. You don't know what love is until you have the absence of it. You don't know
Yeah.
what happiness is until it's been repressed from you or taken from you. You don't
Yeah.
know dark until you don't know light or can't really appreciate it
Mhm.
until you've had the absence of it.
I do, I really appreciate what you're saying when it comes to the contrast, when it comes to
Hmm.
value. This month is National Wellness Month, and they're like, well, what does value have to do with it? It has everything to do with it. I think in some portions, everything, how we view ourselves will kind of dictate how we treat ourselves and how we treat others. You said what
Yeah.
your why was, and my why, it simply is the same thing. It's, I learned through my recovery that helping others was my healing. I learned through my recovery that serving others became my recovery. So that kind of contrast, that thing for me, what I see successful is not what I used to think was successful. Being busy helping others, I find, like you said, teaching has been extremely healing for me.
Yeah.
I'm learning more than they are. I'm learning a lot about myself because I feel as a teacher, you want the best for that individual. You want them to do better than you. Like for me, it's not about me. It's kind of outward centered. It's about showing what I've learned and bestowing on others so they can secure their value, because it all starts from how we see ourselves. Physical health. If I hate myself, if I really truly don't like myself and what I'm doing or what I exist, how important is it to be physically fit or physically well? How important it is to take care of myself, go to doctor's appointments, or do what I need to do if I look at myself, I have no value. If every day is just another day, I feel securing a value doesn't immediately change the situation, but it's those little building blocks to kind of help the overall picture. And like we said before, recovery looks different for everyone. Loss comes in all shapes and sizes. You could lose a job, like you said. You could lose a loved one. You could lose a relationship. I know people who are homeless. One of the biggest things that they say after years and years of being homeless is, what's the hardest thing? And they say, loneliness. Simple words. A lot of times we make it so complicated when it comes to these things, but when it comes to people, that's why we care about these things. Why we care about wellness? Because about the people. When it comes to mental health, whatever it is, it all comes back to the people. And I appreciate. I know that. What was it? When it comes to national wellness, and I know that you kind of tell your story, why you do what you do, why you really love what you do. What have you seen that worked? I know it's not on the overlay, but what have you seen when it comes to wellness, when it comes to helping others? What was your one thing that you felt was so important, so vital when it comes to securing some shape of
Securing wellness?
yeah.
It's not one thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's trilogy, mind, body, spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't work on just one. It doesn't work. So
Yeah.
it's a balance with all of those things. So you work on your physical body, you
Mm-hmm.
work on your spiritual body, you
Mm-hmm.
work on your mental emotional body.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take time to work on those three,
Mm-hmm.
then you feel whole.
Yeah.
That's the secret right there. And there's different ways to do that, because
Mm-hmm.
we have so many choices to work on the physical body. We have
Yeah.
so many choices on, what we can eat, or what, we can get a massage or get chiropractic or acupuncture. For spirituality, we can do meditation or visualization or hypnosis. For our mental emotion, we can be social with people, or have quiet time, and we're fasting or something like that. So things work for different people in different ways. But if you get those three, mind, body, spirit, then you feel whole, connected.
Mm-hmm.
You feel elevated. It raises your vibration.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you can.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I guess what I was trying to say, what approaches, because I know those three components are vital. Mental, spiritual, and physical.
Mm-hmm.
When a lot of times people they don't really. A lot of times I've noticed, even myself, years ago, I didn't realize the value of a safe place. When we think of a house, we don't really think of, there's a difference between a house and a home. When we think about a home is what we build, a house is where we live. Sometimes we just think about is where we reside today, where we're residing today, but sometimes those are the people we surround ourselves with. There is not just one way, you're right, but addressing those three components are vital. So when I say purpose driven, it kind of bleeds into all of that. It's how I value myself, that I want a spiritual component. I want my mental health to be addressed. I want my physical being to be addressed. All of them. For me, I know it's holistic. I know it's different, but I do find that when it comes to, I never see a group of people. I do peer, facilitate. I never see healing when all we talk about is what we don't have. Gratitude is a huge component. Forgiveness is a huge component. And it's
Yeah.
not just forgiving others, it's forgiving ourselves. We are our worst critics a lot of times.
Yeah.
So,
Those are the mental, emotional things and spiritual things. And that's where my expertise is. Like people, my clients don't come for me, even though I'm a hypnotherapist. I don't take on clients that want to come for weight loss. That's not what I do.
yeah.
I don't work in that. I don't talk nutrition and things like that. It's not the physical body that I work with people on. I work with them with the spiritual, mental, emotional body. And we start, because many people that come may not be very spiritual. So we start with the mental, emotional. And that's many people that contact me are struggling with anxiety, like high levels of anxiety and panic, which causes depression and lots of fear. So we work there first, trying to get the symptoms under control so that we can get to the root problem. It's like, okay, so let me teach you some techniques right now, so that we can get the anxiety or the panic under control, so you can feel more comfortable going into hypnosis.
Okay.
So, and then when we get into hypnosis, we can do higher level things, more of the spiritual things when we're talking about source or God in a different way, or us being human and spirit, the duality of our existence.
I see.
And how we see life. And I found that when you work on your spiritual body first, everything else falls in place. It falls in place. The body is going to fall in place. Your emotional state is going to fall in place, because if spiritually you believe that you are having these experiences because there's a purpose for them, then you're not going to feel weird about it. It's like the belief causes the emotion causes the behavior. So if you change the belief to something that serves you, then the emotion will be something that serves you. You'll be happier. You won't have shame, or you won't have the blame or the guilt. And then your behavior is going to be totally different. You may not go for that bottle or the, whatever the drug of choice is, even if it's food or sex. There's many different kinds of emotions, because people are trying to deal with what they're feeling, and they forget that feeling is only there because of what they believe.
I really do like that. One of my colleagues in my church said something very similar in that kind of order of that, and I feel it's feelings, emotions are good servants, not good masters. A lot of times we can't. It's not very wise to be led by your feelings. I also, for myself, I dealt with trauma, and I do a lot of breathing exercise. I do progressive relaxation. I do that instantly. I get panic attacks sometimes. I instantly, when I feel it, I start doing the breathing. And I try to tell this with my clients. I never get that far, because a lot of times there's a lot of other talk, but breathing, I find, at least for myself, has been huge.
It's what we do anyways.
Yeah, I know.
Breathing. Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I am stressed," and you're ignoring the physical impact that's happened.
That you're right here, that you're in your chest.
Yeah.
And you're not even getting the full volume from your diaphragm then your brain's not even getting what you need, so you can even think straight if you're not breathing.
Yeah, and if you kind of have some negative beliefs about having, let's say you're having a symptom and you thought things are going well, and then it comes back. So if you have a negative belief, then you're going to be like, I'm stressed out because I'm having a symptom, and you're not breathing, and you're stressed out that it's not going away. It compounds.
Yeah. So you got to change the belief.
Yeah.
And then you won't have.
Yeah.
You got to go to the root cause. So if it's like childhood trauma is what a lot of people's issues come from is
Mm-hmm.
things from between 0 and 10 years old, something that happened when they
Yeah.
were little. And something in their adult life will
Yeah.
trigger that memory of it. And then the subconscious mind doesn't know that, hey, I'm not 7 anymore. It'll
Mm-hmm.
just go back to that state, to that memory. And then you bring in all of that stuff with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to cope and deal with it from skills that you acquired at 7.
Mm-hmm.
But you're a grown man,
Yeah.
but you're
Yeah.
using a 7-year-old skill set.
I see.
So that's where I work. I go, okay, what's going on? Hypnosis is really great for this. Going back to that initializing event when you were 7 and this thing happened, we
Mm-hmm.
deal with it with the 7-year-old Robert.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I would
see.
be going, 7-year-old Robert, what's happening right now?
Well, I think the closest thing I've done was well, I don't know if it was even close. I did EMDR therapy for
Yeah.
quite some time, so
Yeah.
that helped me. I know it doesn't help everyone, but it did help me because I had to kind of go through the process of those emotions and feel those sensations. They go by the senses and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
but I really like the idea when it comes to addressing the root cause when it comes to our beliefs, because I do believe I find a lot of my peers, yeah, you're on medication, you may be on therapy, you may be in groups, but a lot of times you're just if it doesn't work out, maybe the medication is less helpful or whatever. You haven't developed any coping skills to handle a symptom
Yeah.
symptoms. And I guess the most stressful moments sometimes are we're not there yet, but at the end of the year, a lot of times holidays can be
Yeah.
hugely stressful. November, all these anniversary days that can even prompt more stress. It's not just being around families can be, the closer people you are to can cause the most pain because they're close to you, a lot of times, and childhood and all that. So I do appreciate everything you're saying. I feel like I hope I didn't take you on a whole windy road to get there, but
Winding
anyway,
road is good.
I
It's
do
good
like
conversation.
I want to. There's this one quote from Rachel Naomi Remen. She said, "Healing may not be so much about getting better as about letting go of everything that isn't you, all the expectations, all the beliefs, and becoming who you are." I kind of like that because a lot of times we feel like we had to add. Sometimes in recovery, you got to let go. You got to let go of certain things that you're holding on to. And as we wrap up, Dee, I want to ask you to have any final thoughts, anything you want to share with the listeners. Everything will be in the notes and everything like
Yeah.
that. So you can share it with that, and I'll share with my listeners.
There's a couple of things. So, and I'm paraphrasing this Jim Rome thing. He says that ducks do things that they do because they're ducks.
Mhm.
Geese fly south because they're geese.
Mhm.
We're not geese. We're not ducks. So that means we don't have to do those things.
Yeah.
We could change.
Mhm.
So that's part of, a lot of people get so hung up on, this is what I used to do, this is how it's done.
Mhm.
And even your thoughts, you can change those.
Yeah.
And when you change those beliefs and you change the thoughts, you'll have a different outcome.
Yeah.
You're not a geese. You're not a tree.
Yeah.
Trees do what trees do. Geese do what geese do. We have free will. God has given that to us.
Yeah.
So even if you were told you must do this,
Mhm.
you have to ask yourself, is that true? Is that really true? Can I absolutely be sure? And this is work. This is the philosophy of Byron Katie, the work. And I encourage anybody that's stuck in a thought pattern
Mhm.
to do her work. You can go to byronkatie.com. So I just want to say that right there. And also, if I have different tools and worksheets, free workshops, you can go to my website, deewoolridge.com.
Mhm.
And there's some free downloads there on helping you say no, helping you get rid of people out of your life that don't serve you. And if you don't know how to do it, it's going to give you a way to do that. If you're dealing with stress and anxiety that's causing panic, I have a free workshop called Kick Fear in the Face. And I know it's a funny name, but fear is personal, and you got to face it. It's got to be right there. You got to stop suppressing what's bringing up the fear. You have to face it and say, come on, fear, it's me and you. So Kick Fear in the Face, and you can get there by going to kickfear.deewoolridge.com, or you can get it from my website. And also there, if you need help with self-esteem, many people that have substance abuse issues, or not just substance abuse, but are who gamble, who have sex addiction, food, shopping, anything like that, are compensating for other things.
Yeah.
So raising your self-value, your self-worth, your self-esteem is part of that recovery. And so there is it's almost free. It's $5, I think. It's a 5-day self-esteem booster challenge. And it's simple exercises, it's self-paced, and you can find that on the website under the products there as well. There's lots of stuff in there that you can get to help. You just got to do the work.
I just want to say thank you again, Dee. All this that you're sharing will be in the notes. So for those listening, watching, I just want to remind those listening that you could always find new episodes, new content with ReviveMinistriesFL.com. I'm going to leave you with this last quote, and it's from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it says, "The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be."
Boom.